On the next problem, which is problem 15, you're given that a right triangle has sides of 5 and 15. And you're also told that one of those sides is opposite the right angle. Well, there are two things you've got to know. You've got to know, first of all, what opposite means. Well, here's a right triangle. The side opposite the right triangle is also called the hypotenuse, and that is the longest of the three sides. So you could say, well, okay, this one's 15 and this one's 25, but that would not be a good idea because it's this one that has to be the longest. This is the longest side of the triangle. If you find that any side is longer than this, you've done something wrong. Okay, so you put the 25 here, you label either the other two 15. This one looks more like 15. If that's 25, it looks a little short, but the triangle doesn't have to be completely accurate, although it's a good idea to make it accurate if you can. Okay, so we have 15 here, we have 25 here. And if you wanted to put the 15 here, that would be fine. Labeling the three sides of the triangle A, B, and C, we then write down the Pythagorean theorem. And of course, you should automatically, anytime you see a right triangle, think Pythagorean theorem. You might need it for the triangle, you might not need it, but you always want to think right triangle should invoke Pythagorean theorem. It should also invoke the idea that the base is one side of the one of the sides that makes up the right angle, and the altitude would be the other, so that it's very easy to find the area of the triangle. And another question I could have asked, I could have just given you the same information, asked you for the area of the triangle. You would have had to think of Pythagorean theorem so you can find this side. Anytime you know two sides of a right triangle, you can always use the Pythagorean theorem to find the third side. Well, okay. Focusing on this problem, we write down the Pythagorean theorem. We identify the sides A, B, and C. The only thing you got to be careful of is that C always has to be the hypotenuse, the longest side, the side opposite the right angle. Okay, so identifying C correctly, it's the one that's by itself on the right-hand side of the equal sign. We substitute 25 for C, we substitute 15 for B, we get the equation a squared plus 15 squared equals 25 squared. 15 squared is 225, 25 squared is 625. It's a straightforward step. Subtract the 225 from both sides, we get a squared equals 400, so that a is the square root of 400, which is 20. If I'd asked you for the area, you would have done all the same things, although you would have had to think through another step, and then you would multiply the 20 by the 15. This is a right angle, so if this is the base, this is an altitude. If you want to think of this as the base, that's fine, then this is the altitude. Either way, it's 1/2 base times altitude, so the area would be 1/2 15 times 20, and let's write our conclusion down here. A is 20. Okay, and we could use that to find the area had that been asked, and it might be on another version of the problem.